what would you like to focus on today?
Just honor in general, and the secondary focus on my positioning.
Okie dokie. I'll just point out any honor-related things then, as we're going along. There we go. So, I need more screens. I only have 3. I need 4. Maybe I just need to have 2 windows on 1 screen. Anyways, for those of you who don't know, I'm mainly a main tank player, and quite recently I've been having to flex to honor a lot, so my honor has been improving, which is good. So I'm always happy to coach on roles that I have a lot more to contribute for. A bit of a wasted sleep.
I was waiting for that Mercy to show up, but she didn't.
You're doing pretty well so far. Like, you don't really have anything else to do except put shots into the D.Va. The Nano's a bit excessive. So yeah, I'm noticing a big improvement so far. You know, if you've got nothing else to do, really nicely placed nade as well.
Thank you.
Yeah, already I'm noticing like a big improvement from last time I coached you, which is great.
It's the break.
Nice sleep. You don't need to necessarily do anything with that sleep. Yeah, just keep your focus on your... Yeah, you can just heal Bob. And your Zen. Don't forget about your Zen. And there's an opportunity for a nade as well. Nicely done. Oh. Yeah, dropping down there was a bit risky. But you're doing fine. Yeah, it's because you've denied yourself these sightlines. You probably can't kill the Ryan. Focus on the people that are to the left at the moment. So, their Widow is now dead, so you can take high ground again. Don't give that Hanzo the sightlines he wants. Just move and rotate. Just look to enable your defenders that are going to be on point. Which is going to be no one. Which is unfortunate. Again, in terms of sightlines, by the way, they're getting new spawn now, so you need to rotate left. I'm gonna quickly change the stream title because it hasn't updated. There we go, that's updated. So I don't know whether or not the stream itself will actually catch up in time. Maybe it will just be delayed for the entire stream, which will be unfortunate. Means that I'll be answering questions or responding to chat with a 5-minute delay. Be aware of your positioning right now as you're surrounded by the enemy team. Focus on healing. you don't really need to be scoped in for these shots. When you're scoped, you have much reduced sight lines. Just look around to the right, so you can just see who needs healing, if anyone does. Now you should be able to keep all of your team alive. Excellent. Yeah, just contest as long as possible. The jump there probably killed you. So I think you played that very well overall. I'm very happy with the improvement that I've seen there. A big thing is just when you're rotating, always at all points, think about where all of the enemies are in relation to you. Because sometimes you get a bit caught out and end up having yourself sandwiched between the enemy team, which is not ideal. But overall, I'm happy with the improvement I'm still there.
Thank you.
Welcome to Junkertown.
You'll probably be wanting to move up with your team about now. And again, you can use high ground, because if you're on high ground, you can drop down. Whereas if you're on low ground, you can't exactly drop up. You don't need to be following your Rhine. Payload is normally where you want to be.
That's what I was doing. I was just trying to get a nade on him. Quick heals before I left.
Remember to try and look forwards where possible as well. You can get a shot into that McCree if you wanted to. The other thing about you being payload is it means that your team doesn't have to be. And your tanks, for example, are more useful if they're able to push forwards than if they're stuck pushing payload.
No one can hide from my sight.
So it's probably worth going, yeah, towards your team, because... Not ahead of your team, though. Because...
Yeah, I was trying to get, to get to that break.
Because if you're with your team, then they can peel for you. Now you've got to be in the range, at their peel range. So Hanzo's peel range is a lot longer than Hog's, is longer than Reinhardt's. But if you're within peel range of all three, then you're pretty safe, because all three of them can put pressure on the Genji that's putting pressure on you. And normally with your main tank is the safest place to be. Don't worry too much about the McCree. You know that he's there. The thing is, your Reinhardt needs you right now, and you're not at the sidelines that he needs. Just be aware that the McCree is there. So he's currently behind you. To your left. The McCree is still behind you.
Well, yeah, but healing my team is more important.
So with the McCree, you just want to try and sleep him. And then you can continue to heal your team. If you're sleeping a target, it's not necessarily to finish off the target. It just basically removes them from the fight temporarily. And again, yeah, that's the risk with peeking. It was a nice sleep. Yeah, I must say, I've noticed a big improvement with you landing sleeps, landing shots, landing nades. Except that one.
I was about to say.
Now, I'm really pleased to see the improvement so far. If in doubt, go with your Rhiners. So, move forwards with your Rhine. Just stay near your Rhine. Hug the left wall as well. Nade yourself as the first thing. So if a Genji dashes in on you and blades once, that's 180 damage, which isn't enough to kill you. If you now nade yourself, you should have tried to sleep or nade that Ryan.
No, I wanted to press Q, but I didn't for whatever reason.
Whatever you do, don't scope in, because now they know where you are. I'm surprised they're not pushing your position. So you got lucky there. Just stay close to your Ryan, stay close to your Briggs, stay close to your Hog. When your Brig or McCree or anyone, if you get a stun of sorts onto a character, it's usually worth using the opportunity to nade that character so that the enemy, because if a target is CC'd, the enemy's instinct is to try and keep that character alive. You don't need to be there with your Brig, you don't need to be there. You need to be on payload where things are happening. Nade in to keep everyone alive. 3 on payload if possible. Keep an eye on your right hand side in case there's anyone. And then stay on payload, stay on payload.
The payload has reached the checkpoint.
Welcome to the scrapyard. Enemy turret ahead. Enemy turret destroyed.
Make sure to get in before the doors close. A nice nade. It didn't land, but it's the intention and the thought behind it, which is good. You know that your Ryan wants to push forward, so move forward so you have line of sight on your Ryan. If you land a nade on here, you can kill a target. Sleep the Ryan if he charges. Again, just use the cover. Move round to the right. Don't go too far away from payload, because then you'll just get killed by McCree.
Oh man, I heard
Yeah.
him coming.
That's what happens when you move too far away from your team. Not again. This is the second time I got a Fortnite Monopoly ad. That exists. Well, of course that exists, but... Fortnite Monopoly. When I hoped it was over there. Was a kid flossing. Much sadness indeed. Someone asked me if I was going to do Fortnite coaching, and I was just like, I'll stick with Overwatch. Your instinct needs to be sleep and then nade the target. So, especially with a Ryan, you know, if he slept, a great opportunity for you to get a nade in there. Push under with your team. Push under with your team. Don't go too far away. Go with your team, with your team, with your team. Close, 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 close. With your team towards payload. Move towards payload, move towards payload. Keep an eye on your Ryan. Keep an eye on your Ryan. Ryan, you need to be... You've put the payload between you and your Ryan. In general, if you don't have line of sight, you want to be moving left and right so that you get those lines of sight. You don't need to look away there, just... Move forwards with your Ryan. A nade in, a nade in, nade in, nade in, nade in. Keep your Ryan alive. Just keep your Ryan alive. You can nano your Ryan if you want to. Your Ryan gets quite easily distracted.
We should have won that push.
Again, overall, I'm seeing a big improvement, which is really good. You just need to keep an eye on staying near your team so that you don't get caught off guard by McCrees or Junkrats or any flankers, really. Be close to your team. The other reason to be close to your team is sightlines. Right now, you can't see your Ryan. Go so you can see your Ryan. There you go. Now you're in front of your Ryan. a very risky sleep to go for, because if you miss it, then he knows where you are. Your Junkrat's taking a lot of damage on the high ground. You can nade yourself, go forwards, go forwards, go forwards. No, not underneath, forwards. Keep going forwards. You need to be a bit quicker with reacting to your team adjusting positioning. Sleep the Rhine. Your first instinct needs to be to try and get that sleep in. Because if you don't land that sleep, it's probably a lost fight anyway, so it's not worth using the nano.
All soldiers are hard to kill. 10 seconds remaining.
Pressure on. We can't let up now.
Our duty is to move the payload correct to it.
Defeat. Play of the game.
So yes, the big thing to keep an eye on for you is very much not just getting sightlines for where your team currently is, but getting sightlines for where your team is likely to move next. If they're very much moving in a very predictable, linear manner, then you know where they're going to be wanting to go.